Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of Tech Tuesday. Y'all, it's been 4 weeks. It's Tech Tuesday number 4. Add that to all the 12 days of Techmas, and we've been live 16 times. I am so thankful for those of you who have tuned in week after week, day after day, and listened to this crazy girl talk about her favorite technology tools. I want to start by showing you guys my website. If you have not been over there before, it's new. It does have a big scary picture of me on the top. But honestly, that was the best setup that I could find. So just scroll below the picture of me. And every day that I do one of these lives, the very next day, I have a related blog post. So like one of the days of Techmas, I talked about custom breakout EDU games. If you come over here, I actually have some pictures of all of our guy friends, so they'll get a kick out of this. But I also will have, a related kind of an enhanced show notes. So if you like what I talk about and you want more, you can always go to SuzyLolley.com on the next day, Wednesday, if we're doing Tech Tuesday, and you'll see a related post. So enough with that. I want to get over to what we're going to talk about today. So I'm actually going to stay here just for a minute, and I will go to, because I'm the owner of the site, you know what, I can't get into that. But anyway, I want to just talk to you tonight about different ways, actually 9 different features that you want to look for when you're choosing an assessment tool. Okay, so let me just walk through those quickly. Again, if you go to SuzyLolley.com tomorrow, I believe it's going to be posting at 8 p.m. So anytime after that tomorrow, then you will find a little bit more detail about all the tips I'm about to show you, because on tonight's video, I want to focus more on actually showing you the tools, giving you a little behind the scenes feature, and letting you know why those 6 are my favorite. So let's talk about where pedagogy and technology come together. A lot of teachers go out and they pick the coolest, neatest tech tool. Maybe they heard it at a conference, maybe a friend told them about it. They don't think about really how it's going to fit in their classroom, or the details on, is this the best tool for what my students need? They just kind of plunge in, and we've all been on that bandwagon. We've all thought about, oh my gosh, this is so cool, I've got to try it. But maybe either the kids aren't as interested in it as you thought, or it's just not really the tool for your classroom. So I want to give you 9 quick tips, and again, more detail on the blog, but 9 quick tips on when you're trying to choose specifically an assessment tool for your classroom. I'm going to do at least a 3-week series on this, on different pedagogy meets technology, but tonight I want to talk specifically about assessment tools. So number 1, when you're looking for an assessment tool, you want to look for something that will grade for you. Hello, as an English teacher, I always tell this story, so if I train you at school, pardon me, but as an English teacher, I always was there till like 6 o'clock at night. I don't think I accomplished anything really after 3, but I just was there because I had this huge stack of papers, and on Fridays, I would assemble that stack of papers, clip them together with my faithful binder clips, put them in baskets, load the baskets in my crate. On the way to the car, I had to lift the crate off of my trailer steps, because yes, I was a trailer queen most recently. I had to then pull it to my car without fail, at least once on these Fridays, maybe once every 4 weeks or something. I would drop the crate of papers, pick them all up, and then lift the crate into my car. You get the point, okay? Not fun. So for an assessment tool, number 1, look for something that will grade for you, not something where you have to carry a million papers home. But then number 2, you want to also look for something that offers multiple types of questions, okay? So I'm going to show you some tools tonight that do not fit all these qualities, but the tools I've picked fit most of them. So the reason I say multiple types of questions is multiple choice is not always going to get it done. And also, sometimes you need students to write an answer that you want to grade in addition to their multiple choice capabilities, okay? So you want to make sure that you have a tool that leaves room for that. Number 3, you want the data to be yours when you're done. So if you have data that you get from giving a quiz or a test or some formative assessment on one of the tools I'm about to show you, you want to make sure that that data can come with you. And my favorite format is a CSV, which is a very basic Excel. It's called comma separated value. And so you want to make sure that you have a tool that will give you the data. You also want a tool that has reports so you can understand the data. That's number 4. Number 5. I like a tool with assessment that can also double as a survey, because there are times when, as we all learned in our master's program, if you've had your master's, we learned about qualitative data. So I like one that can give me survey capabilities as well. Next, I want it to be free or reasonable. Can I get a witness on that? Teachers ain't got no money, okay? So you want to make sure that the tool is free or reasonable. But the next one, I've lost track. I think it's number 7. Number 7, you don't want it to mine your students' data. I am not going to quote the county, but I was talking to a county official here in Georgia, not in our county, of course. But when I talked to that person about Microsoft versus Google, and I mentioned the fact that Google mines student data, he said, I don't care as long as it's free. Just saying, something to think about. If you wouldn't want your student having their data mined or your child having their data mined, then you probably don't want, your students to have that either, okay? And number 8, you want to have an assessment tool that is device agnostic, or as you see on this picture over here on the right, you want a tool that's device agnostic or doesn't require a device at all. And then finally, you want the tool that you use, number 9, to, as much as possible, have pre-built assessments that you can just pull from rather than having to start over. Am I right? So let's get down and dirty with 6 of my favorite tools that meet, if not all of these, most of these criteria. And then tomorrow, I'm still building this chart, but it'll be attached to the blog post. I'm going to give you every tool I mentioned and then what features it fits or does not fit on the list I gave you. So you ready to get started? Let's go ahead and start with Microsoft Forms. Now, if you are a Google Forms user, if you're in a Google district, you still can use Microsoft Forms. It's totally free. If you go to forms.office.com, you can sign in with a free Microsoft account. I've shown you on multiple videos how to get a free Microsoft Office 365 account for you and your students if you're a teacher. But feel free to hit me up in the comments if you need a link to that. I'll be glad to show it to you. But I'm just at forms.office.com, and you can use this to build 2 types of, you can build a form or a survey. Since we're focusing on assessment tools tonight, I clicked the option that said quiz. And let me just show you that from the beginning. So I've got new form, new quiz. I'm going to click quiz, give it a title, give it a description. Over on the right, I can add a little picture to enhance things. It'll do a Bing search. I can do search my OneDrive, or I can upload something. And then, remember, one of the features I told you to look for was multiple. Y'all, I'm clicking it, and it is disappearing. Okay, that's so fun. Anyway, there are multiple types of questions you can do with a quiz. Let me see if I can reload a different one because that is too fun. So, for example, okay, this is not a quiz, it is a form, but you will get the point, okay? For example, I have some multiple choice questions in this one. I have multiple select. You'll see it's a square, so if they needed to select more than one choice there. I have a text box question. I have lots of different choices, and I think there are about 6. I would show you that if it would load right at this moment. And you also can add themes and all that kind of stuff. But I want to focus on today just a little taste of why it makes a great assessment tool. So where do you find it? You find it at forms.office.com, signing in with a free Microsoft or Office 365 account. Okay? What does it do? It creates quizzes and surveys with multiple types of questions. Here's one sample of a form I have, but you can see other ways I've used it. Okay, I have done a little quiz about text structures. I've done surveys about, different teachers that were coming to a camp we had called iPad Camp. I've allowed students to respond to other students' feedback via a form. I have done all kinds of surveys. I've done t-shirt orders. That doesn't have to do with assessment tools, but it's a very flexible tool. And then why do I like it? I like anything free. I also like how it's really beautiful. When forms first came out, they were kind of womp womp in the attractiveness department. But now you can come up to theme, and you can not only choose one of the themes here, including octopus, but you can also upload your own custom theme, which is really cool. And I like that feature. I also like that when you share them, you have the option to share a link, a QR code. You can embed it in an LMS or a website, or you can email the link. You can also create a template that you share with other teachers, or you can work on the same form together. So this is an assessment tool that is not only good from a student perspective, but also from a teacher perspective. All of the tools I'm going to show tonight, I will probably hit in separate resources. I do have a whole webinar I did on forms. So again, if you'd like to see that, about an hour in depth just on forms, then hit me up in the comments. I'll be glad to let you know. So that's Microsoft Forms. Number 2, Kahoot. Y'all, if you haven't played Kahoot, I just really doubt it. But if you haven't played Kahoot, you are missing out on not only an assessment tool, but a behavior management tool. I have seen kids, I'm going to just tell you, when I was a trainer at an unnamed high school a couple years ago, I had visited this classroom a couple times helping a teacher with different things, okay? So one time I came in and the kids were all on their phones, so distracted. One kid fell out of his chair, and these were high schoolers, and it was just, oh my gosh, I was not missing being in the classroom, I'll be honest at that point. Next time I came back, they were playing Kahoot, y'all, and the difference was so profound. They were so engaged in what they were doing. So if you have not met Kahoot and you need people to pay attention to you, adults, children, little children, big children, mean children, great children, then I would totally check out Kahoot. What I love about Kahoot is that you can type in a topic. So I took 5 years of French, so let's look that up. And when I type in French, okay, I'm not promising that everything here is good. It's just like anything you're going to do with your students. You need to look at it and see if it has any merit first, okay? So rather than click somebody's that might have something weird on it, I'm going to go into my Kahoots. You also can create from scratch, okay? And back in 2016, I did a webinar for Common Sense Media. They're Common Sense Education now. And what you can do is you can click on it. It takes you to the details window. It shows you all the questions. So you can look and say, okay, is that something I actually wanted to use? Okay. So when I was teaching about different tech tools, I asked them questions in Kahoot about the tech tools that I was teaching. That was a really big, tongue twister there. But I love this great repository. You also can grab your results from it. So I didn't show you that in Forms, and y'all, I missed that because that was one of my favorite features, but we'll get back to that maybe on another day. But I can go and look at my results, and look, I can save them, I can download them. So again, I talked about exportable results. I talked about something being free. This one is totally free. It does not do surveys. It is a gaming site. So let me show you what it looks like. So I'm going to go into Play Again, Disney Trivia. If you want to play along, you can actually join me on this. Okay, I'm just going to go into classic mode. And what it does is you go to a site, and I'm going to try by using my own Wi-Fi while I'm going live. We will make sure that, we'll try to make sure that my computer doesn't, or my internet doesn't crash by me using too much bandwidth. So you go to Kahoot.it, just like it shows here, and this is Disney Trivia. Okay. The longer it takes me, you'll have to listen to A Whole New World. But that doesn't bother me. I love it. Okay? Put in the game pin. In this case, 241670. You put in a nickname. And I have had students write in bizarre nicknames or bad nicknames, and I just kick them out. This is me, and you're ready to play. So I'm just going to show you one question. Okay? It loads the question on the screen, but what you can't see is I have to look at the screen for the question, but then I have to answer on my phone. Okay? I'm going to click it, and I got it wrong. I was just totally playing. But what it does is after every kid has answered, it shows you what the correct answer was, kind of the distribution. It gives students points on accuracy and speed. So it gives them motivation to, you know, go fast, but also get it right. Okay? But again, it's, you know, giving you a really cool way to engage your students, but it's still an assessment. When you're done, again, you can pull those results, okay? So I'm going to close Kahoot, and I'm going to go to an alternative. It came out maybe a year later, and I'm going to tell you why sometimes I like Quizzes better. If you've not played Quizzes, but you have played Kahoot, will you leave me a comment right now in the comment window? And I'm sorry I can't see you right now in the comment window, but if I did, then you would see my screen mirrored about 500 times. So I promise I'll come over and interact with you guys as soon as I'm done. But anyway, Quizzes, if you've not seen it, it's Quizzes.com. Just add an extra Z, you know, it's spelled like that, okay? Or you can see it right here bigger. Quiz, I-Z-Z, Quizzes. And so Quizzes.com allows you to do the same kind of game format, but here are the differences from Kahoot. Number one, love the memes. So when you are, I'm going to go into my quizzes here because I've created quizzes. Again, you can search for a ready-made quiz. Okay. I have some friends on here. It was so fun. It's fun to take some of these to like a, a family get together. So we did a 25th anniversary. Okay. So I've got a there quiz that I can click. Okay. And it'll give me a preview. I can show the answers or not. Okay. I can have I can play live or do homework, and it's free either way, which I really like. Some sites, which one I'm going to talk about in a few weeks, Nearpod charges for their homework feature. At least they did last time I checked it. But with quizzes, every answer that the kids get right or wrong, these memes pop up. Okay. And so I have not created a meme set yet, but hold on a minute, okay? If you go into a quiz you've made and the kids get questions right or wrong, they will be confronted with a funny meme. So I'm just going to say play live. And at the bottom, it'll say show memes, and you decide if you want to create your own or use the ones that are here. And then here you can preview the memes, or at least see which ones, heroes and villains, quizzes, classic, whatever you want to do. Okay. And then when you get ready to play, and y'all, I'm going to go back and choose homework because maybe I think you can see that on the screen with me. And I know it's boring because you can't see my screen. So say proceed. Friends, I keep clicking the wrong button. I'm so sorry. I know this never happens to you in front of your students. But anyway, you're able to show them memes. You're able to do it for homework, which is not exactly the same as Kahoot. And here's the third difference. And I'm just kind of talking you through this, but feel free to jump on and play. The third difference between this and Kahoot, third major difference, is that y'all, I just went blank. I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to think of it. Okay. Third tool, Socrative. Let me go ahead and sign in here. I was signed in, but I think it's timed me out. I thought of it. Okay, third main difference with quizzes and Kahoot is that students see the memes, students can play homework option, and then finally, they also see the quizzes and the answers on their own screen. What Kahoot did was when they started researching their product, they said they didn't want kids not to be paying attention to the teacher in the front of the room and kind of be device focused. Quizzes took the opposite approach. So Quizzes actually allows the students to see the answers and the questions on their own device. Okay, so that's Quizzes. Check it out if you haven't. Socrative I used to use all the time in my high school classroom. It's not as flashy, but again, we're talking assessment tools. So Quizzes, Kahoot, both kind of gamey. Microsoft Forms, very informative, but not as gamey, has a cute background. Socrative is another assessment tool I love. What you do is you have a room number, and every time you give students the direction to go to Socrative, they're going to go to the same room number, and they will see the one quiz that you have live, okay? Now, there are 6 different options here for what you can launch. You can launch a quiz in regular mode or space race. You also can give these 4 kind of quicker things. I can give kids an exit ticket, and that's always going to ask them, basically, are you comfortable with the lesson or not? Or I can give them a quick question like multiple choice, true, false, short answer. The version, or why it's called quick, is because I just say the question out loud or write the question on the board, and then this is formatted in such a way that they can automatically answer from their device whatever question I've asked without me having to prepare it. Y'all, I love anything where if I'm getting evaluated or if students are done early and I need a few minutes, that I can just jump on here and launch a question without having to put it in. Okay, but if you want to do a little bit more preparation, quiz and space race. So I'm going to go into space race just to show you that. It tells me I need to stop the current activity. It'll run whatever activity you had going last time you were in here. Okay, so I'm going to say, we'll say teacher trivia, and you know what? I'm going to do news outlet. I did it right. I'm going to say next. Okay, what icon do I want to use? That's really cool because previously they only had rockets when I used this in my classroom. Okay, how many teams we want to do? We'll say 2 teams. I'm going to auto assign, or you can do student choice. They've added a lot of new features since I was in here as a teacher. And now I click start. And what happens is as the students go to my room number and start to race across the screen, and for students, it's b.socrative.com. So I will join in as a student for you so you can see what happens. b.socrative.com. And when they get there, it's going to just ask them for a room number. So mine is 194788. If you would like to join my space race right now, you're welcome to. 194788. It'll ask for their names. This one does not ask for nicknames, which is another cool feature of Socrative. Again, it's not so gamey, although it does have the space race feature. It's a little bit more, I guess, what you call professional, okay? And then as I start to answer, my rocket ship moves across. And y'all, I'm just picking random answers. Oh, I got 2 in a row somehow. I got that one wrong. So when I get it wrong, my team does not get any points. It shows the kids what team they're on. Like mine has a strip going across the top of my screen that tells me I'm on team blue. And I'm answering them all, but I got only 3 right, okay? So the students would be on a team competing, and they would see their rocket ship move to the right, okay? So that's Socrative. I love it. Plickers, the most innovative thing probably of a couple years ago. Maybe I'll say 4 years ago, Plickers was the coolest thing out, but it's still cool and still undiscovered. So let me show you really quickly what Plickers is. If you watched my QR card, y'all can't talk because I said cards and codes. If you have watched my QR codes video, then you know that QR just means quick response. And so Plickers is based on a certain type of QR code. It's a piece of paper, and it allows students to scan multiple choice answers based on what type of or what way they turn the cards. I'm going to show you this and zoom in so you can see. Okay, so I use the number system in my class. I have a podcast episode all about that. If you have not tuned into the Suzy Show, you can find it on the iTunes podcast app. You can find it on your favorite podcast app. But anyway, on the Suzy Show, I talked about the number system. And so I always numbered my students in my class, and they knew that number, and they used it for so many things. So student number 1 would grab card number 1, and you can see right here that this is card number 1. And he or she would look at my question that I'm running through the Plickers app, okay? I have a library where I can run something, okay? So they would see my question on the board. And for example, okay, I'm going to go into demo ITS, I think is the one. Okay. And I would launch a question at them, and then what they would do is on their card, they would turn the letter up that they wanted to choose. The reason that the letters are small is so that if I'm getting the wrong answer and everybody else is getting it right, I'm not embarrassed at all. And you can choose with Plickers, since it is an assessment tool, to run a report. You can show answers at the end of who got what right, and you have a really easy little reports button right here. And it'll show you who got what right. Here's your overall score. Just lots of things you can do there with Plickers. Again, I'm just briefly hitting them. But if you need more information, I have demo videos of several of these tools. Just leave me a note in the comments. Finally, and one of my favorites is my school district, although they are not sponsoring my evening activities here, including this session, but my school district has adopted Canvas LMS. If your district has an LMS, then probably there's a quiz tool built in there as well. But I just want to quickly demonstrate the Canvas quiz tool. Okay. And I want to go into a class that I know I have some quizzes in. So I have some in my tech training course that some of my teachers do. Okay. So I'm going to go into my tech training course. I'm going to go to Canvas quizzes, and that's where I taught them about quizzes, but I also let them take a quiz. So let me show you just a brief look at what a Canvas quiz looks like. Okay, I'm going to go into preview mode as the teacher. And remember I talked about multiple question types, and I talked about easy reporting and all of that kind of information. Well, this one, not only can I give multiple question types like this, I gave an image right here. I was able to record audio of the directions, but also it's a text question. Okay. The next question that the students had was a multiple choice question. There are currently 11 types of questions in Canvas, okay? And I'm going to go back to edit mode of this quiz, even though I don't really need to edit anything. I am going to save it to get out of this mode. Give me just a minute. So multiple types of questions, easy reporting. And I want to show you what I can look at now. I can go to this button called Quiz Statistics. And I can see very quickly the average score for the quiz, and this is loading. When I say quickly, depending on how fast your connection is, what the average score was, how long it took kids, the tough questions I can go through. But look at that, beautiful reporting. The data is exportable. So all of these 6 tools hit most of the features I added. They grade multiple types of questions. I can take the data where I want to. I can search for quizzes that I did not create myself. They're device agnostic. I just want to give you these last few tips. And again, if you want more details, check out my blog tomorrow, SuzyLolley.com, and the post that's going to be featured there talking about nine tips for choosing an assessment tool. You want to remember that the tool you pick needs to be something that's appropriate for formative or summative assessment. Not everything's going to be appropriate for both. You want to decrease cheating, you might want to include time limits in one of your activities. And I refer in my blog post to something called the One Question Quizzer, which I'll share more details about that. You might want to use a rubric if you're going to do a short answer question. At times you might need to do that. This quiz doesn't have one on it. But at times when you're not using a little multiple choice, true, false kind of question, if you're going to give something where they want to write, attach a rubric to that. And then finally, 2 devices are not being used by the same student at the same time during an assessment are not going to spell good news. So have your students put their phones face down on their desks if they're also using another device. Guys, I hope this helped. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in tonight, everybody who's going to watch the video later, and anything you want to see more of, please leave me a comment in the video. Take care.